In this interview, I sat down with Colin, a trader from Malaysia, to talk about his experience going full time as a trader in 2023, right up until now, where he's in Darwinia Gold and been trading with Darwinex Zero for just short of 1 year. Now, what's great about this interview is I actually had a little surprise for Colin towards the end, which panned out perfectly. So make sure you stick around and watch the whole interview and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Colin, welcome to the Zero Edge. It's a pleasure to have you on today. I know we've been trying to get this in for the past week or two, so it's great to, well, actually, it's been a lot longer than that, right? We've been waiting for you to hit Darwinia Gold, which you've done this month. So I'm going to ask you to do the same as what I do with every person who I interview and just give our viewers a little bit of an introduction to yourself, who you are, how you got into trading, and where you are now.
Yeah, my name is Colin, but in the trading space, I go by Trader Colin. I started trading 3 to 4 years ago, but I didn't actually really take it very seriously. Only up till about the halfway point of 2024. That's when I really dialed in, and I said, "Hey, let's give everything and see where this takes us." So I think halfway around 2024, I kind of created my own trading plan, my strategy, back tested a ton. I think I spent like 3 4 months in my room, just eat, backtest, sleep, eat, backtest, sleep for like 3 4 months. And
Strap that on a t-shirt.
yeah, yeah. And after gathering all the data and it was time to put it it was time to apply it to prop firm challenges and I found out about Darwin where I could have that track record. So I kind of like dove in with both of them, doing prop firm challenges and Darwinex Zero. And yeah, here we are after all the work that I've put in. Starting my Darwin, I think August 2024. Now I just achieved in Darwin a goal.
Mhm. And it took you 8 months exactly, didn't it? You didn't have
Yeah,
to you
yeah,
hit all the performance objectives. Yeah.
within 8 months. Yeah, and it was a roller coaster ride. But I think what's good about um what kept me grounded with Darwinex Zero is that I know that every trade is gonna be it's a track record. So it kind of helped me to exclude unnecessary trades because I don't want unnecessary trades or trades that wasn't in my trading plan to be on that track record. So I think it helped me a bit with discipline as well.
Of course, yeah, because you know that when you say it's on your track record, you know it's gonna mean something at some point.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, with an account, like, from a funding company, if you blow the account, that all those trades, all that record, and that period of time kind of goes to waste. I mean, I guess unless you're keeping all your broker statements and converging them into one big track record, but it's not really the way to do it, right? But your Darwin, just for reference, is TVTA, and
Yeah.
you actually I remember having this conversation with you at the beginning of this year. You actually took the whole of December off, right? So even though it took you 8 months to achieve gold status, you did it whilst not even trading throughout the whole month of, I think it was the whole month of December and pretty much the whole month of November too, right? You had a good
Yeah.
start to November, and then you kind of took a step back. And I remember you saying to me, you was like, I just don't trade December. It's not worth it for me. I just sit out. And I was like, listen, fair play. Like, it's not something that I do myself, and I don't advocate everybody else to do it. But I was like, you know your strategy better than anybody, and I'm more than happy for that. So we'll catch up in a few months when you hit gold. And again, here we are. So you said that. I mean, going back to how long you've been trading. I mean, you say 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So that really isn't a long time,
No, not
to be trading, but your record is almost a year. You spent time before that, so really you dialed in quite early on in your journey, and like you say, you got your trading plan nailed down. How important do you think it is to have that period where you go, I'm going to stop, messing about now. I'm going to dial in. I'm going to do it serious. I'm going to make a plan, and I'm going to let this, grow for the next couple of years. How important do you think that plan is?
yeah, extremely important because like you said, I started trading 4 years ago around there, and I had no plan, no risk management, nothing to reference off and be like, yep, if this happens, I'm going to stop trading, or if this happens, I'm going to continue. There was nothing, right? So when I traded back then, I wanted to make money, but I didn't have knowledge. I didn't have the right tools to actually make money, like seriously, on a serious note. That's why I was unprofitable at the beginning. I mean, it's quite difficult for someone to just jump straight into trading and be like, oh, profitable straight away. It rarely happens because it kind of takes time to develop, that self-discipline, that self-patience, proper risk management and everything. I think people need to make the mistakes first, but then most importantly, learn from the mistakes and improve to become a better trader. So it's extremely important, I feel, because it's what shapes you to become a better trader and who you are today.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think your plan is kind of like a business plan, right? It's what you set out to achieve. It's how you're going to achieve it, and then your only job is to stick to that on a day-to-day basis, right? So, I mean, before we get into what you deem actually makes a trader and kind of not necessarily what's in your plan, but what you think is really important, talk to me about when you said you kind of have to make the mistakes first. Like, what sort of mistakes did you make in the early period before you sat down and had a word with yourself and was like, we're going to sort this out?
I think I made all the mistakes. um, Revenge trading, uh, over trading, like being emotional. I think people, unfortunately, they turn to trading because they want to make quick money. And the fact that, that idea of like, oh my God, if this trade goes right, I'm going to make a ton of money, right? They have that kind of, they put that monetary element on the trade. But I can tell you guys right now, as soon as I excluded the monetary value on the trade itself, like I didn't really care about, oh, if this trade hits take profit, I'm going to make 2 grand. Uh, that's when actually my trading got better. So I think people tend to focus a lot on the things that doesn't make actual trading up. Like I said, monetary value, being emotional when trading, chasing losses. I think chasing losses is a big part of people making the mistakes, right? After one loss, they don't know when to quit, or they don't even have the discipline to tell themselves like, hey, this is enough for today. Let's reset, head on to the next trading day. I think a lot of people struggle with that. They want to chase losses until they get that win. I think I think a lot of it has to do with their ego and want that instant validation, right? That I want to end the day on with a winner, that kind of mindset. So a lot of these things, I think people need to, like I said, make the mistake, learn from it, build that in your plan, in your discipline, and then go from there.
So how do you recognize some of these issues? So you're talking about overtrading, revenge trading, all of these sort of things that kind of comes from either impulse or emotional control. How do you,
Yeah.
as a trader, sit back and go, okay, I think I have this issue now before I because I think before you start to fix an issue, you kind of have to accept that there's something there that needs fixing, right? So how would Colin look at like his journal or look at his plan and go, okay, something's not working here, and then how would you determine a plan to kind of rectify that?
I think there's two answers to that. The first one is that if you're in self denial, then you're never gonna realize that you have this problem. So first off, you need to take a step back. Like if you're an emotional trader, revenge trading, over trading, all this kind of stuff, you really need to stop trading, take a step back, and look at the bigger picture, because you need to recognize that these things that keeps happening is not going to help over the long run, right? You need to accept that removing these elements from your trading is going to be beneficial long term. And then secondly, data. I think data helps a lot. And a lot of people, they want to be successful traders, but when you ask them, do you have data? And they don't have data. They don't have a journal. If if you ask them what data you have, they'll probably say, oh yeah, I have a data of like 30 trades. 30 trades is not enough, guys. Like it's not. You need, like when I did it, few hundred at least minimum. And journal your trades, right? Every trade that you take, whether it's in a demo environment or if you open a small live account, demo what happens when you take a trade, lose that trade, and then you enter another one and another one and another one. And you'll see on the data that, hey, I'm racking up all these losses, 4 losses in a row, 5 losses in a row. Is this necessary? And when you look at the data, you look at your spreadsheet and it has all these stop losses hitting. Then you finally realize that, hey, I think this is unnecessary. I can exclude it out from my trading plan. And then that's where you can sort of tweak it and refine it to make a proper trading plan with proper risk management.
And what about the guys who refuse to do all of this work? Do you think they could ever make it as a trader?
I don't
I
think
asked that
anybody.
question. I only asked
Yeah.
that question because I've spoken to a lot of people in the past and I've given very similar advice to you is collect data, understand everything. And they go either, I mean, they don't say it outright, but it'll be, oh, that's too much work, or it's not sexy work. It's not like getting on the charts and or buying a challenge and trying to pass it and make money because this is the stuff that people don't see, right? So do you think
Yep.
somebody without doing all that can get lucky and become successful or?
If a trader relies on luck, then they're not going to get far, in my opinion, because it's all about having that winning mentality, that skill set, right? Skill set is, well, like once you have the skill set in trading, it's kind of like forever in a way. Long term, I'm talking long term. You can enter trading and have beginner's luck, but how long is that going to last until your emotions take over and you lose your discipline and everything? And don't get me wrong, guys, we're all human. um we're not robots at the end of the day. Humans make mistakes, and I know other profitable traders, including myself, we can't run from the fact that we make minor mistakes here and there. um but yeah, that's what makes us human. But at the end of the day, you can get away with revenge trading here and there, or over trading, but I think it's more on minimalizing those rookie mistakes, right? Like when you get to a profitable level, you realize that over trading and revenge trading is just really, really rookie mistakes. Like we should really exclude those things out of our trading plan, and yeah, it should be minimized like as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think the biggest issue with that is that trading is a game where you will sometimes get rewarded for poor behavior and you sometimes get punished for good behavior. So it really blurs the lines between what's good and what's bad because for a newer trader, if they make money on a trade, generally they consider that as a successful trade. It doesn't matter how that money was made. It doesn't matter whether they broke their rules or stuck to their plan. Perfect example is if a trade removes their stop and then they don't get stopped out, although they should have been, and then that trade goes to a break even or even turns into a winner. A lot of people would class that as a successful trade, even though they broke every rule in the book to get that win. So it's there is like a fine line, I think. And I mean, you summarized it perfectly, but I think it goes back to like it's such a tough job because you can get rewarded for the bad things. So how do you kind of move past that in terms of ignoring all of your like emotions when you might win a trade or lose a trade and trying to separate yourself from the P&L. Or at least how did you do that where you just go, I'm not bothered about the money. The P&L will come, my good trade, bad trade. And the reason I'm asking this specifically to you is because like we were saying before we jumped on the interview, you have a set and forget strategy, right? So you will place a trade and it runs to target or stop. There's no interfering. There's no kind of you getting emotional while you're in the trade, and you can see that from your excursion chart. So for those who aren't aware, we have a maximum adverse and favorable excursion chart on the Darwinex Zero platform, and Colin's trades show that basically he never interferes. It always hits target or always hits stop. Do you think that's a huge part of you being able to detach yourself from the P&L?
um yeah, I think um I think it's how the perspective of trading enters like someone's mentality. Because like I said, when I looked at the monetary value of trading, everything was so emotional and so chaotic all over the place. But then I quickly learned that it's a statistics and probability game. And it lies within your edge, right? So think about this, guys. If you make changes to your trade, for example, as Kieran said, you move your stop loss, or you remove it. You move it or remove it. It doesn't take you out because you moved it or removed it, and then it hits TP. For me, that's not a winning trade, because these are the little things that creeps into your trading plan. It will actually alter it in the long run, because you would take a trade next week and be like, hey, I moved the stop loss and it went to take profit. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you lost more, right? You took a bigger loss because you removed it or moved your stop loss, and price went against you. So just because price went in your favor one time or the few times, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen all the time. And these habits really creep into your trading plan, into your edge, and then in the long run, it's really going to affect you as a trader, because you have a plan and you went against your plan, and then when you stick to the plan, it doesn't work. You will start questioning, and it's kind of like a bouncing back and forth, right? Oh, should I touch it? Should I not touch the trade? When I touched it, it went my way, and then when I followed my trading plan, it didn't go my way. So yeah, like you need to be disciplined, and if you have a set trading plan, you have a set trading plan. Like literally, don't touch it, because long run, it's all about having that profitable edge, and statistically over the long run, you will make profit, right? So yeah, like when I don't look at the P&L, like Kieran said, I set and forget. I think it takes away the aspect of micromanaging the trade. Um, I think when creating my trading plan, I didn't want to stare at the charts all the time, where I kind of have the factor of like, oh, if price moves this much, and then I micromanage, I set stop loss to break even and all that kind of things. I just let it do its thing, because most of the time, sometimes I see trades having a beautiful move in my direction. It creeps back to entry, and then it hits take profit. So if I touch that trade and I set stop loss to break even, I would literally be out of the trade at break even, make no money, and then the trade going to my position. But I understand it can be both ways. It could actually save a loss, because it could tap break even and then go to stop loss, right? But it goes back to data, guys. The data suggests, or my data suggests, that I don't touch the trade. Because when I don't touch the trade over the long run, I'm making my gains and I have that profitable edge in the market.
So it's interesting you say that, because I know a lot of professional traders who will measure in their journal over an extended period of time active management versus passive management. So, or passive management being, I don't touch the trade. I do a set and forget. I place my levels, my stop orders, and my stop, my target, and I let either one of them get hit. And over time, you can kind of understand and see it black and white whether your micromanaging of a position is actually working, which for the majority of new traders, again, the lines are blurred because you'll get rewarded for poor behavior on occasion. But for the majority of new traders, they don't tend to make the best decisions in the heat of the moment when those emotions are flaring up. So seeing it black and white in your journal, I need to leave my trades alone, it's quite hard to ignore. Although traders still will ignore it, because it's it's one of those games that's just incredibly tough to crack it. Um, I know when we jumped on, you wanted to talk a little bit about what makes a trader, right? Like in your opinion, what actually makes a trader? Because anybody can open a trading account, anybody can hit buy and sell, anybody can do that, right? But that doesn't, in my opinion at least, that doesn't make somebody a trader. So to Colin, who is a trader? What characteristics and personality does that person need to have to be a trader?
Yeah, like for me, a trader, you need to be an all-rounder. So first of all, you need a profitable edge. And the only way to know that you have a profitable edge is through historical price action, right? You need to know that over the past 2 years, 3 years of historical price action, you have an edge. Number two, but without having good trading psychology, discipline, and patience, your edge will not matter, right? Because you can have the best edge in the world, but if you keep revenge trading, you keep interfering with the trade, you're gonna disturb that edge and it's not gonna reach its maximum potential. So you need to be an all-around trader to be an actual trader because, like you said, anybody can deposit money, open a trade, and make some money and be like, hey, I'm a trader, but you're not, right? Because trading is all about performance over 1 year, 5 years, a decade later. It's not about the money that you make within the day or within a week. And that's why I kind of like how Darwin processes things, because I'm an intraday trader, right? So I enter trades almost every day, pretty much almost every day. And it's very easy for me to look at, hey, I'm up 1% today, I'm up 2% today. But with Darwin, because they do things quarterly, I've zoom out, right? I zoom out, I look at the bigger picture. You know, they have the rankings that end every month. So it helps people zoom out and be like, hey, I need to know my performance throughout the month, throughout the quarter, throughout the year. You know, when you look at trading that way, it really, really helps you. So it's not about the short-term gains, it's about the long-term performance.
And that's kind of crucial, right? Is not seeing it as I need to get rich now, I need to get rich overnight, I need to make $1 million. It's okay, can I do this sustainably for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30
Yep.
years with the edge that you have? I mean, I think psychology is a tricky one to just pick up. I mean, there's courses that you can do, there's mentors and coaches that you can have, but it definitely takes time. And I think experience is a massive thing when it comes to psychology because you learn to adapt and to control and to just deal with things a lot better. It's not that, you know, you or I as traders ourselves, it's not that we don't get the, the emotional issues or the impulse control issues that a new trader has. We just know how to deal with it. We know the things that we put in place, like your set and forget. You know that if you do that and you don't have to make decisions when you're watching the chart, you're going to perform a lot better. So I think psychology, a lot of that comes from experience as well as the right advice. And risk management, like you say, I mean, of course, Darwinex and Darwinex Zero, we do adjust your risk at Darwin level, but it always helps for the trader to understand their own exposure and to, of course, manage their risk on a trade by trade basis. But I always say to our traders is that your job isn't to make money or to make a return. That's your edge's job. Your only job is to mitigate the downside and to stop your account from blowing up. Manage that risk. That's your only job as a trader. The work that you've put in to build your edge, that should be paying off month after month, year after year. And any time that you look at. Your only job as a trader is to stop that system from blowing up, right? So I guess from that is kind of like, how did you how did you learn to become a good risk manager, and how did you build on your psychology? Because we know how you built your edge. You took that time away and you built your trading plan. You did years worth of back testing, but how did you kind of overcome the emotional and impulse control issues that a new trader might have, and how did you also become a good risk manager?
Yeah, I think you need time on the charts
Mhm.
to develop these things, right? Because, you know, anybody can tell you, hey, stop over trading, stop revenge trading. Like, they can give you all the advice in the world, but it's you as a trader that needs to take action on whether you want to make these changes or not. If you can't help yourself, then you're not gonna overcome these challenges, or how to manage your emotions and everything. So um like I said, there's no straight answer to it. It's just that it's a combination of things and it needs to work and gel well together, right? Like I said, time on the charts, so that the more you trade, I mean, uh, when I'm talking on the sense of like you trying to build your psychology or risk management, you need to enter trades and you need to exit trades. You need to trade to find out the problem. So without chart time, you're never going to find out that problem. And then it's in terms of recognizing a pattern. So if you do XYZ and the result is you keep overtrading, then you really need to have that conscious mindset of, hey, this is really not working. And I think everybody, who has revenge traded or traded with emotion, they would reach a stage where they've had enough. I think everybody would kind of reach that moment where like they know for a fact that these things is not helping them. And then that's when that conscious change kicks in and be like, hey, I really need to dial in. I really need to have a think about what I'm doing wrong and how do I improve it, right? So, if micromanaging your trade is a problem, then adopt a set and forget approach. If risk if overtrading is a problem, then have the discipline to tell yourself, hey, if I take 2 losses in a row on the same day, I walk away from the charts and reset and let's have a go again at it on the next trading day. Having these conscious decisions to put in place, that's when it makes a difference, right? So like I said, anybody can give you all the advice in the world, but it's you at the end of the day as a trader to take action on it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you're saying each trade is like a rep in the gym, right? It's you've got to put the work in, you've got to do the reps. You can't just magic up a good psychology. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the word psychology or just saying have a good psychology because I think it's you could have the best outlook on life. You might have the best psychology, quote unquote, out of anybody that you know. But when it comes to trading, you still have the same issues that most people have. So I think it's a little bit more tuned into actually trading psychology and some of the emotional, like I keep saying emotional and impulse control issues, because I think that's a lot of what it stems down to, which does come from, psychological issues. But I know a lot of people who've had great lives. They have a positive outlook on life. They're fantastic from that regard. They come into trading and they still can't make it work. So I think it's very attuned to certain issues that you have. And like you say, just doing the reps, getting that live experience. And I mean, I was going to say my opinion, but I'm curious to hear yours. Do you think do you think you have to build reps with live capital in terms of where you can get paid? So Darwinex, prop firms, personal accounts, or do you think you can do the reps on demo?
It's a good question because from my experience, I mean, this is what I prefer. I prefer I prefer to spend money. So whether it's a live account or a prop firm challenge, because when I spend money and I lose that money, it hurts, right? When you open a demo account and you have and there's nothing, you don't feel attached to it. So um you can open like 100 lot trade and hit like a massive win or whatever, but there's no skin in the game, right? If you make money or you lose money in demo, you're not really feeling anything. But unless you are really, unless you take it seriously and you treat it as the real thing, then yes. But for me, I learn from doing. So when I buy a prop firm challenge and I fail it, and I buy one more and I fail again, it hurts me more, like financially it hurts. And I think that's what switches, it kicks the gears in, it switches me on to do something about it. So it works both ways. It's just whether you would be okay with demo where you don't really have any attachment to it, or you learn by doing, whether you're funding a live account or whether you're buying prop firm challenges and you're blowing those accounts, and that's where you would really feel something, right? So for me, as bad as bad as it sounds, I prefer to lose money because that's when it's real, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think pain is the best teacher, right? You you feel pain and you think, and it's the same with losing a trade. generally people analyze their losing trades more than they will their winning trades because it creates a feeling of pain and frustration, and you tend to take a lot more lessons from the pain that you take. I mean, with anything in life, but trading specifically. So when you blow an account and there's actually money there, like the thing is with, let's say you bought a 50K funding challenge or even a Darwinex account and it's 38 euros a month or a couple of $100, pounds. It's not that much from a financial perspective. But even though because money has left your bank account and gone to that service and then all goes for nothing, you feel it's like a stabbing pain. Like, oh, like why have I done that? So now I'm going to sit down and kind of assess what I did, what went wrong, and how not to do it again. The only issue is when people fall into that cycle and they don't step back and assess what they're doing wrong. They just see it as a big gamble. And if you see it that way, you may as well go to the casino. Not financial advice here, but you may as well go to the casino and put it all on black because you'll probably have more success than trying to make a funded account or flipping a personal account from $1,000 to 100 grand. You'll probably have more success there. So let's fast forward to kind of current day and where you are now. Now, I already sort of know the answer to this because we worked around your schedule today as a trader to get on the interview. But what does a typical day look like for you? Because you're also in like a completely different time zone, right? So it's probably evening where you are right now, isn't it?
Currently, it's early evening. Yeah, or almost 5 p.m.
Okay.
It's in
So your
Malaysia.
London session is in your afternoon, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, guys, it's boring.
Not
Like,
the answer that we wanted, but
yeah,
okay.
and like honestly, guys, like it's I kind of hate the misconception on trading because you get all these gurus and stuff and be like, yeah, I'm today I'm buying a Rolex and today I'm going on a yacht party, I'm popping champagne in the club. But trading is not like that, right? And I mean, for me, the truth behind those people flashing that kind of lifestyle is probably that they're selling you something. And probably they are, I mean, a bit off topic, but yeah, they're probably, they probably make more money selling courses than they're trading. But, you know, coming back to a typical day of how, as a full-time trader, I wake up, I have some food. By the time I have my lunch, I get ready for the sessions. If I see my confirmation set up, I take the trade and I walk away from the computer and do other things like heading to the gym, going out for an evening stroll, maybe meet some friends, play some sports, and yeah, that's about it. Like honestly, trading, I think a lot of people when they get to that profitable stage where they're doing well, trading gets really boring because guys, nothing's interesting than clicking buttons on your phone and you know looking at a screen on a chart or whatever. Like it's nothing lavish, nothing luxurious. So yeah, so don't get the wrong misconception about the lavish life of trading, but at the end of the day, it's quite boring.
Do you think on that point that where we see these gurus advertising that lavish life, and a lot of people fall for it, do you think they fall for the money and they go, I want to make a load of money as a trader, or do you think they fall for that? They think that if they become a trader very quickly, they're gonna be on that yacht, they're gonna be in Dubai, they're gonna be buying a Rolex and all these different things. Because whilst that is kind of closely tied to money, it's the lifestyle that sells. Like, if I put a picture of 100 grand cash on my Instagram story and I said, DM me on how to learn to trade, I would imagine not a lot of people are gonna direct message me. But if I put a Lamborghini in Dubai, and all of this fancy stuff that we know professional traders aren't really doing because they're spending too much time at their desk, probably, you know, going blind from staring at screens all day. But do you think it's that lifestyle instead of the money that actually sucks people in?
I think it's lifestyle and greed. unfortunately, in this modern world, we get sucked into the, people want things fast right now.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
I'm not even talking about trading, but life in general. You know, they want that promotion in their job. They want quick success because yes, ultimately they want to fund a lifestyle where it's more luxurious and less, not so simple. But yeah, people these days they want things quick. And that's the problem because trading is not quick. Trading is not a get rich quick scheme, guys. You don't trade and become a millionaire overnight. And also, you need to know that if you can become a millionaire overnight, you can lose a million overnight as well. So fast money goes, and you can lose fast money as well. Um, yeah, lifestyle. I think they get sucked into it, right? Because they look at these gurus, flashing Rolexes and supercars, and they think to themselves, "Hey, I want that. I want to get to a point in life where I can afford these kind of things." And I think they know that. I mean, not knocking on corporate life, but a 9 to 5 ain't gonna cut that, right?
Mhm.
We all know that nobody gets filthy rich because they work corporate for the rest of their life. And even if they do, if they're senior director level or whatever, um, you have a huge responsibility to the company. If the CEO calls you in the middle of the night, you best believe you need to pick up that call, right? So traders, I think people want to get into trading because of that freedom, not just financially, but time freedom as well. Like I quit my job in 2023. I think not a lot of people know, but I think people that follow my channel, they know that I was previously in a corporate job and I quit to go all in on trading because I wanted that financial freedom. I wanted that time freedom. And right now in Malaysia, we don't get paid a lot in terms of monthly salary. The average salary goes for 1,000 USD a month. But when you get to the level of trading where one trade can, make my monthly salary, you kind of think about how people make money, like the perspective of money, like super differently. And yeah, so people want things fast. People want they don't want to put in the work. They want things quickly. And for some reason, people think that buying that guru's course or buying someone's signals would just make them money and they can have this lavish lifestyle. So it's the wrong mentality, man. Like honestly, if you're a trader and you're struggling and the mentality that you have is I need trading signals, I need to buy someone's trading signals to become successful. Like think about it this way: if the guy providing you the signals just disappear, do you know anything? You don't know anything, right? You basically lost your edge, right?
Yeah.
So signals in the long run they don't work. Like you, why
Or in the
why not?
short run.
Yeah, or in the short run, yeah. And so if you want to make trading work, put in the work yourself.
Mhm.
Like create that own success. Be the trader that has that skill set. And once you have that skill set, like it's game over, honestly. Like it's yeah, like I said, long run, long term wise, you're good.
Mhm. And so I want to touch on something that you just spoke about there, which is when you left your job in 2023. How did that how did that feel to leave your job and know that you're solely relying on trading now? Because I mean, I did the same in 2021. I left my job and I was until I started working with Darwinex, I was self-employed as a trader full time. And I know the pressure I felt, but, like, talk to me about what you felt when you left work and all of a sudden you're in the big bad world of trying to make it work as a trader.
The pressure was immense. It was massive because so uh, a bit of backstory. I worked in the corporate, but as I quit my job, I made sure to save up at least 12 months of expenses. So, guys, you need. I don't recommend this, by the way, because I would rather someone have a 9 to 5 that brings in stable income, and at the same time, you find a way to make trading work on the side, right? Because if trading doesn't work, at least you have that monthly income, consistent income coming in, and you don't feel a lot of pressure. But the reason why I did it because that I didn't want to be in a 9 to 5 anymore. I think that it's not worth it for me personally. Um, and yeah, the pressure was massive because I only had 12 months of expenses to live off, right? It's basically like I'm putting myself as like a ticking time bomb, because if I don't make it in 12 months,
Yeah.
I have no choice but to go back. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem financially, and I'm forced to go back to a 9 to 5, which I don't want to do. And the funny thing is that 8 out of that 12 months, I was unprofitable.
Mm-hmm.
So I only had maximum a quarter left in a year to make it work, to find a way to make it work. And well, with all the hard work and time that I put in, it actually worked out. But the pressure was massive. I had family members not supporting me. They didn't like that I left my consistent income 9 to 5 for something that's not guaranteed. Yeah, so loved ones not supporting you, financial pressure, a massive chip on your shoulder to make it work. Like everything was against me at that point. But I just stayed resilient, honestly. Like I was super determined to make it work. I I treated it as I didn't have a plan B. I needed to make it work. And I think all that pressure put on me made me want to work super hard, and wanted me to master my craft and make trading work, and eventually it did.
Well, I think there's what's the saying? Is it pressure makes diamonds, or
Yeah,
there's a saying like yeah, pressure makes
yeah.
diamonds, or something to that effect. And I mean, we're not advocating that people like
No,
if
no,
you're
no.
not in a position to take that risk, obviously don't do it. But
Yeah.
again, I did very similar to you. I'd made sure I had at least 12 months expenses saved up, and you can kind of take that risk to see if it's going to work. But you have to judge your own situation by how much you're giving up by leaving your job. Because if you're giving up a six-figure salary to try and make trading work when you've never made it work before, it doesn't really make sense. If you're giving up, a low-paying job, then there's less to lose, sort of thing. So, obviously, we're not advocating it, but at some point, most traders have to, or the guys that take it pro and become successful, you have to take that step and you have to become full time, right? It's kind
Yeah,
of natural progression.
I like to call it calculated risk.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you put fail safes in place, I know you said that you didn't really have a plan B, but you kind of did because you'd made sure that you could pay your bills. And I guess after that 12-month period, if you had no money and you hadn't made trading work, well, that's your plan B. You've got to go out and find another job again. So it's
Yep.
kind of, you didn't take a reckless risk. You did it calculated and you did it the way that you should. And now if we fast forward to today, I don't know if you know this. I don't know how often you check your Darwin, but you obviously hit Darwinia Gold this month and you're now open to investors. And you had your first investor put capital in yesterday. Did you know that?
Really? No, I
Did
really?
that's why I'm saying it like that, because I didn't know if you knew,
I
because I
didn't
feel
know.
like you'd have told me this morning when we jumped on. But yeah, so you're now managing $17,000 from a single investor that went
Wow.
in yesterday, I believe. So even though $17,000, it's not a crazy amount. It's not going to set you financially free for the rest of your life. But what it shows is it's proof of concept that the last four years have all come to this moment. Your record's paying off. People are noticing you. I did tell you before, I was like, when you get into gold, I don't think it'll be long because your record is quite impressive. Um, but it is kind of like a tiny stepping stone where you can see the end goal, right? Like if you get 10 investors who all put in roughly the same, you're going to be managing six figures in real capital. Like that's actually 17 grand that is sat in an investor's account, like into your Darwin. Real capital, no prop firm, no funding company, no challenge that you've paid for. Like that's a real investor who is. So you're now officially an asset manager, to on a professional level. So how does that feel? I mean, I'm so glad you didn't already know that because I'm happy that I got to tell you. So like, how does that feel finding that out?
Ah, wow. I mean, I I am speechless because you know I was never in a position where someone will look at my track record and be like, hey, I think this strategy is good. This Darwin is good. I like his track record, and I want to put in. People put in their own hard-earned money into it. So wow, I mean, I'm honestly speechless. I didn't know that at all. But I think the fact that someone's willing to put their own hard-earned money into it, I think it just makes me more driven
Mhm.
because I'm here to make money as well. As of every trader is here to make money, but I'm not here to make 10% in a day. I'm here to make sure to my track record and to my other accounts that I have as well that I'm consistently making money over the long period. So like I said, I don't care about how I'm doing in a day, in a week. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that month after month, year after year, I'm consistently um performing. So wow, I mean, I'm happy. Obviously, I'm happy. I hope that I hope that I think what's important to me is that I just keep performing to the best of my ability with proper risk management and just following my plan and let the track record speak for itself and yeah, just let it do its thing.
Well, the thing is now with you specifically because. And I remember when I first analyzed your Darwin, I sent you a video of it, right? I think I said it at
Yeah.
the time. When I loaded up your excursion chart, I was like, "Oh wow, this looks super consistent." Like I can tell that you don't have bad days in terms of like not bad days from a P&L perspective, but you don't ever slip up. You don't ever break your rules. You do the same thing day in, day out. And at this point in your journey now, all you have to do is keep doing that. Like and the interesting thing here is now that you've got investor capital, it's great and it feels fantastic, but nothing changes.
Yep.
You just got to keep doing the same thing day in, day out. Exactly like you said, it's quite boring, but you can walk around now with your head held high going, listen, the past year especially, but the past 4 years has finally paid off. Somebody's took notice. It doesn't matter whether it's $100, 100 grand, a million. Somebody has took notice, and somebody has gone. I trust this person to manage my capital. I'd be curious actually to know, which I can't tell. You'd have to check your side. I wonder whether that even might be Darwinex who've invested into you. I don't know at this point. Obviously, we have the Darwinex hedge fund, which is Darwinex Labs. So if you look at your investors on your dashboard, it'll show you kind of the who's invested and how much they have. If it says Darwinex Labs, it would be Darwinex, which is an even greater achievement because that means the Darwinex hedge fund has wanted to allocate capital to you. But even if it's just a random investor who's been on the marketplace looking, you might find somebody's been watching you for a long time, and because a week after you've been open to investment, somebody's come in and they put in a decent amount, like 17 grand on day one is a decent amount. So
I mean, that's a lot of money already. Like
yeah,
70 grand is not cheap.
and you have your max drawdowns 5.5% at Darwin level, which is in fact, let me share my screen just so that you can see it.
Sure.
If we go present share screen, because I think the viewers should see this as well. Um, Here we go. So you have a max drawdown of 5.5%, which is fantastic. So I would hazard a guess, if you guys don't know this, when you sign up as an investor on the Darwinex Investor Marketplace, you can leverage up. Again, this is not financial advice, but you can leverage up. So you can put $100 in and leverage it up 3 times. And so basically you'd be taking on 3 times the amount of risk. But you never know how much an investor has put in. But this investor could be 17 grand at 1x leverage, 2x leverage, 3x leverage. We don't know. And the reason I'm saying that is because they may, even though you've got 17 grand, it might be like a notional value of triple that. So you might be earning triple the performance fees that you think you are, if that makes sense. with a max drawdown of 5.51. Unless I was super low risk, I'd probably 2x my leverage on you, just because that drawdown is super controlled and managed. So this is the period of inactivity that we was talking about earlier. This is when you took, when was it, the 6th of November to
Basically the start of January. Yeah.
Yeah.
To basically to give a clarification to you guys out there, that what happened was in the early part of November, I think the first week, I hit a 75 rating. And I thought to myself back then, hey, let's stop trading and at least secure the allocation. You know, which now when I look back at it, it wasn't the smartest thing to do, I guess, because the whole point of being on Darwinex is to build a verified track record. And when you're building a verified track record, you don't really pause your trading just for to secure a rating or an allocation. So yeah, and then when December came, I stopped trading for the whole month because the data suggests from my backtesting that December is the worst month to trade. So that's why when I asked Kieran to analyze my Darwin, he kind of was looking at my equity curve and was quite puzzled and why is it so flat for all the time. But yeah, now we know.
I was reading here. So this is our messages in January. So where to put looked at the equity curve like WTF, and then you said that you could exactly what you've said now. Your backtesting data suggested December's the worst month.
Yeah.
And I said at that point I'd like 6 months of data to make any kind of decisions on it. And then again you said the exact same. November had little trades because you hit the 75 rating and stopped trading to secure the allocation. And then I remember looking at your excursion chart, this is what I was talking about earlier. So we can see Colin's the black lines on these candles show where Colin closed the trade in relative to how far it went for him and against him. I literally said it's a work of art because I'm such a data nerd as well. And so yeah, I thought that'd be interesting to show because obviously that was back in January. I didn't realize it was that long ago that we had that initial conversation.
Yeah, time flies, man.
And I mean, I think I told you, didn't I? I said I get the December, but don't let your rating or allocations determine when you're going to trade. Just trade as best as you can. And I mean, since then, you haven't had a period where you've been off. And I mean, your equity curve is fantastic. And I'm so happy that you didn't know that. So I got to tell you while we were on the
didn't
call.
know that.
But yeah, so there you can see it. First investor, 7th of May, $16,951 dollars. You've been all green thus far. So, of course, we can ignore December because you didn't take a trade. But all green every month. Of course, May is red, but we are literally a week in. So we can't take anything away from that now. Okay. So did you win a trade today? Yeah. So you've already made the investor money because they're now over 17,000, and you've currently got 150,000 euros in Darwinian allocation, which brings your total AUM to 165k with Darwinex Zero. So congratulations, dude. I'm so glad I got to tell you that because
Thanks so much, man.
I mean, I saw it this morning and I was like, I wonder if he knows. And then you didn't mention it to me, and I was like, okay, I'll give him a little surprise if he hasn't already seen it. But from where we first spoke, where your record looked promising, to where you are now, you've hit gold, you've got over 100k in Darwinia, you've now got investor capital. Like, I mean, it's starting to pay off, dude, and you're getting to that next level now. So my hat's off to you. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, man.
I need to put us back in the center of my screen. There we go. There we go. It's the only problem with this when you share your screen, it shoves us down the side.
It's all good.
Okay, so before we sort of wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about your experience and your journey with Darwinex Zero. So what brought you to us? Because I know now it's easy to look back and go, well, it's easy in hindsight, you can get investor capital, you can do all this. You know that now because you've done it. But at the time where you didn't really have a track record, like what made you think I'm going to start with Darwinex and I'm going to see what I can do?
To be honest, when I had my profitable edge, when I created my strategy and I was looking to apply it to prop firm challenges, at that point in time, prop firms was going through a rough period. right? Things were changing rapidly in the space. Things were not.
Forex funds, was it?
Um, I think it was when a lot of them had the MT5 issue, like
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they were grade labeling and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, so that was, unfortunately, the prop firm space, we are kind of in an unregulated industry, especially with the CFD space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, futures is another thing, but predominantly I trade Euro USD, so I'm in the CFD space, and yeah, there's no regulation on the industry. The prop firm companies can basically do whatever they want. Uh, you can spend your hard-earned money buying a challenge, and when you pass it, they said, hey mate, I'm sorry, but we're gonna deny you, and there's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. So when the space was getting rough, I thought, hey, I need to diversify. Especially when I have data that backs up my strategy, I'm willing to, pay the monthly fee. And I think it was either Albert
Yeah.
or Raihan, one of those. But I
You
think both of
mentioned
them,
you mentioned both of them to me before, I think, yeah.
yeah, it was either one of them or both of them. They said, hey, you need to start diversifying because props now, they're if they go south, you kind of need sort of like a diversification play. And then that's when I started to look into Darwinex a bit more seriously, and I found out that the model is totally different, right? You're not having to pay big amounts of money upfront, especially if you're comparing it to 100, 200, 300K challenge. It's affordable, I would say. The monthly fee, 38 euros a month, uh, to build a track record. And if you trade with props, you don't have a track record, right? Because it's all in their accounts, and there's nothing to show to the external world. And then the opportunity to attract investor capital. I think that's one of the main things that attracted me to Darwinex, because what trader does not want more capital, right? Instead of I think you need capital to do the heavy lifting in your trading, because the example of like, oh, if you have a 10K account and to make this amount of money, you need to like make 10% or 50% or whatever. But if you have bigger capital and you make 1% a month, that's a lot of money already. So yeah, the two main points: build a verifiable track record and attract investor capital. And yeah, ever since then, I paid the monthly every month, built my track record, and this is where we are now today.
I love that, dude, because you've done exactly both of those things. As of yesterday, I'm kind of glad that we did record the interview before, because I think it's all worked out perfectly so that you've achieved those two goals that you set out to at the beginning. Um, and so, as kind of like the final question to wrap up this interview, what are the what are the next steps for you as a trader? Is it just purely scaling, or do you have any plans over the next 2, 5, 10 years?
Um, I think honestly, I haven't thought that far. I think short term wise, if we're looking at the next few years, in the next 5 years, it's purely scaling, because I want to get to a point where I'm managing serious amounts of capital. Like I said, use the capital to do the heavy lifting, 1-2% a month consistently, and you're golden, right? So um it's quite funny, and like that I'm saying about this now, because if you take me back 8 months ago and you tell me that I'm 500K funded or whatever, I'll be like, yeah, I think I'll achieve that in a year or two. But things have been moving quite rapidly. um in the prop space, I'm funded over 1 million in funding, and then now with Darwinex, I hit Darwin goal. So the kind of accolades that I set myself, I already achieved it, but this is where I want to go big. Not I'm not in a rush to scale, but scale progressively, scale when it makes sense. And yeah, make the capital, do the heavy lifting, consistent returns, keep performing how I'm performing, and let everything do its thing like naturally.
Yeah. I love that, dude. I mean, when you say things, I genuinely believe every word that comes out of your mouth because I mean, your data backs up everything that you say. Like, you're so consistent. I can tell that you're dedicated to this for a long time. Like, it's not just a short-term vision. So, um, I really do have a good feeling about your future as a trader, especially at Darwinex Zero. I think at this point now it is literally just a case of scaling and seeing where this can take you, as much capital as you can possibly get over the next couple of years. And then who knows, maybe we'll see you in a couple of years' time, diversifying, having multiple strategies, running your own fund. Like I think you've got what it takes to go far as a trader. So that's kudos to you, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for your kind words. You've been really receptive and helpful. Ever since I popped into the Discord, asking you, hey Kieran, can you analyze my Darwin? I know it was early days back then. I think not even a 6 month track record yet. But you still took the time to give me some insight. Because as a data nerd, as you classify yourself, you look into things where I might have missed maybe. So you took the time to pop in some questions and ask me, hey, do you know that I see you focus on trading one session or this session, maybe look at another timing and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like, I can't say better things about my experience with Darwinex. People are great. I think I also really believe the people running Darwinex has great intentions. They're here for the long run. They want the best out of the traders, because if us traders are doing well on the platform, then Darwinex is doing well as well. So it's a win-win situation, compared to prop firms where they want you to fail, and they make money off failed challenges. So there's a bit of a contradiction there, I would say. Yeah. So all in all, it was like a really good experience. Glad to have met you. Hopefully we can meet one day. Maybe
100%. I'll
yeah,
either come over to Malaysia or you can come to the UK. In fact,
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually I interviewed, I don't know if you saw it, one of the, in fact, I think it might have been the last but one Zero Edge episode of this that I recorded was with a professional hedge fund manager in Malaysia. And I think he's the only person to manage a hedge fund in Malaysia. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name's Nasri Khan, or DDNK, people know him as. But he's solid trader. He's won the Robbins Cup, Q1, Q2, and Q4 last year, I believe. I could be wrong on that. But I know he's won the Robbins Cup 3 times, like super solid trader. And I also said to him I'd come over to Malaysia. So now I've got two of you to come over and visit.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
we'll see if we can get that locked in. But I mean, I appreciate the kind words massively, dude. Like I love what I do. I love meeting traders like yourself and getting to know you guys and all your different strategies and your takes on things. And I mean, just to reiterate the point of the team behind Darwinex, like there is 100% aligned interests. Like, we don't want traders to fail because we actively invest our own capital into traders, and we have investors that we need to find a return for. So we're not here looking for traders who can't stick it out and who aren't profitable. We're looking for people like you to help scale you, because we don't want you to lose. We have 100% aligned interests. We want to find other Collins and we want to bring capital to you. So that's all I've got to say on that. But Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today, dude. And hopefully we can get another one in at some point, or I can come to Malaysia and we can do a sit down conversation. I'll speak with the team and see if we can get a flight booked over there. But I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on today and having this chat with me, dude. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for making the time as well. Yeah, I mean, I would love for you to come to Malaysia. I think you won't regret it. The food is amazing. I'll take you to all the good places as well. But yeah, if I'm ever in London, is it London? Where you at?
I'm not in London, but I'm a 2 hour train journey away, so I go down to London often.
Is the Darwinex headquarters at London? Right. So
Well,
yeah, if I'm
there's the main headquarters is in Madrid in Spain, but
right.
then we have the UK head office down in London in Canary Wharf. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm ever in London, I'll make sure to to send a message your way. And then perhaps we can, do something in person, or just catch up over for some food, for some drinks. And yeah, man, like, thanks so much.
It's a pleasure, dude. And I'm always down to come to London. You just let me know the time. But thank you, Colin.
Definitely.
It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. And I'm
Right.
really, really, just as a side note, I'm really pleased that I got to tell you that you got your first investor. So congratulations to you, dude. Absolute.
Thanks so much. Thanks for informing me, because I think I would have missed it. But cheers, man. Thanks
It's a
for your
pleasure,
time.
dude. I'm glad I got to tell you.